A Japan Airlines flight canceled after the captain gets drunk. Airlines may be required to issue refunds for cancellations instead of vouchers. And Nokia plans to take 4G into space. All that and more today on the Verrier Report. Our top story today, Japan Airlines Flight 11 was canceled due to the captain becoming drunk at a U.S. hotel. The Japanese newspaper, the Mainichi, reports. Japan Airlines said Friday it recently canceled a flight from Dallas to Tokyo after the 49-year-old captain engaged in disruptive behavior while intoxicated at his hotel in the city and received a warning from local police. After arriving from Haneda on Monday, the captain had dined with the flight crew at a restaurant starting around 6 p.m. and continued to frolic in the hotel's lounge and room as well. Employees at the hotel contacted police after informing them to keep the noise down and growing concerns over the captain's behavior. Japan Airlines stated that it could not find an alternate pilot for the flight's 11:05 a.m. departure time, and as such, the airline then assisted the 157 passengers onto other flights. The duty status of the captain and crew members has not been disclosed at this time. In travel news, new DOT policies require airlines to give full refunds instead of vouchers for flight cancellations. NPR reports, in an effort to crack down on airlines that charge passengers steep fees to check bags and change flights, the Department of Transportation announced new regulations aimed at expanding consumer protection. The policy requires carriers to show the entire price of travel before passengers purchase tickets and issue full refunds if flights are canceled or significantly changed. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg mentioned in a statement, quote, "Passengers deserve to know upfront what costs they are facing and should get their money back when an airline owes them without having to ask." Today's announcements will require airlines to both provide passengers better information about costs before ticket purchase and promptly provide cash refunds to passengers when they are owed, not only saving passengers time and money but also preventing headaches. While the policies have gained support, the airlines are resistant to the changes. At a hearing on the proposed fee rule in March 2023, an industry lobbying group representing American, Delta, and United said it would be too difficult for airlines to disclose their charges more clearly. Deputy General Counsel at Airlines for America, Doug Mullen, warned, quote, "The amount of unwanted and unneeded information forced upon passengers by the new policy would only cause confusion and frustration. Very few, if any, need or want this information, and especially when they are initially trying to understand schedule and fare options." The DOT, however, is insistent that the policy changes are necessary to allow travelers to be better informed about the costs of airfare. The rules also require airlines to disclose all baggage, change, and cancellation fees and to share that information with third-party booking sites and travel agents, and also prohibits bait-and-switch tactics that the DOT says disguise the true cost of flights by advertising a low base fare that does not include all mandatory fees. Pete Buttigieg claims, quote, "This is really about making sure that we create a better experience for passengers and a stronger aviation sector in the United States." Internet and streaming on the moon might become a possibility as NASA and Nokia develop a project to bring 4G to space. The two groups have partnered to set up a cellular network on the moon to increase the possibility of a human presence on the moon and other planets. CNN Business reports, a SpaceX rocket is due to launch this year. The exact date has yet to be confirmed, carrying a simple 4G network to the moon. The lander will install the system at the moon's south pole and then it will be remotely controlled from Earth. Deputy Associate Administrator for Programs at NASA, Walt England, stated, quote, "The first challenge to getting a network up and running is having space-qualified cellular equipment that meets the appropriate size, weight, and power requirements, as well as being deployed without a technician. The craft will also have to operate in the harsh environment of extreme temperatures and radiation. The 4G network unit is being built by Nokia's Bell Labs using a range of off-the-shelf commercial components. It will be loaded onto a lander made by a U.S. company, Intuitive Machines, and once deployed, it will connect to the lander via radio equipment to two roaming vehicles. The Lunar Outpost rover, which will explore an area known as Shackleton Connecting Ridge, while the other, the Micronova Hopper, will plunge into a crater to scan for unprecedented up-close evidence of moon ice. Images of ice transmitted back to the lander and then Earth in near real time via the cellular network would be a world first. Lunar ice could be used to create breathable oxygen and even fuel that could eventually be used to launch missions to Mars from the moon. Currently, astronauts talk to each other by radio, but NASA wants a lunar communication system capable of supporting high-resolution video and science data, said England. Eventually, this effort will help us establish a lunar communications network that could give our explorers the ability to beam scientific data back, confer with mission control, and talk to their families as if they were walking down the street on their cell phones. The intention is to lay the foundation for an interplanetary internet that would allow devices such as smartphones to connect to apps and other services on Earth. Bell Labs was given a $14 million grant in 2020, and in January, Nokia was selected by the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency to begin working on communication services and infrastructure that will eventually serve as the framework for the lunar economy. President of Bell Lab Solutions Research, Terry Klein, stated, quote, "A future lunar economy will critically depend on communications technologies to collect, analyze data, and share information and maintain control and operations. This includes sustaining a semi-permanent or permanent human presence on the moon, as well as automated robotic operations for transportation, resource mining, mineral processing, and scientific data collection." This is only one of several missions conducted by NASA. Amongst them is the Dragonfly drone mission to Saturn's moon Titan and the recently completed Ingenuity helicopter on Mars.